Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, the folks over at Truck Trends are reporting that we may see the return of the Blazer. Now, obviously not the old 79 K5 Blazer, but 40 years to the day this vehicle was brand new in the dealerships. They're talking about this vehicle could make its return sometime in 2019, maybe as somewhat of a crossover, not a body-on-frame with two live axles underneath it, albeit we probably find somewhat of a fan base for that, so it'd be interesting to see what General Motors has up their sleeve for this new machine. Another vehicle that's been in the talks for some time has been the Chrysler. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles putting the 707 horsepower supercharged Hemi V8 known as the Hellcat inside of a Chrysler 300. Well, now the folks over at Motor Authority had a little powwow with some of the folks over at FCA who have officially denied that the Chrysler 300 will ever get a Hellcat engine, which is kind of sad. But if that made you sad, something that may make you glad about the brand new Kia Stinger. The folks over at Car Advice had a nice little sit down with the folks over at Kia, one of the head honchos over in the Australia market, who said that a V8 version of this car is in the works as we speak. And if you can remember, several months ago when we first talked about this car on this particular program, I was hoping for something like that. And not like I've got any insight of what Kia is actually doing, but boy, wouldn't that thing be pretty cool if they could put a normally aspirated V8 inside of this machine. I know they have it inside the Hyundai group. Why not just throw it down into this car? It would be pretty dang fantastic. So we'll have to wait and see on this front as well. The Bugatti Chiron's been out with us for a handful of months. In fact, one of the local dealerships, not too very far from Motor Cars HQ, just delivered one of these just a week ago, or just a handful of days ago, I guess I should say. Well, the folks over at Road and Track had a nice little sit down with the folks over at Bugatti, and there is already a replacement for the Chiron in the works, which is going to be pretty entertaining indeed. Think of this car as the unicorn of the automobile world, a really bizarre W16, 4 turbochargers, 1500 horsepower. How much is the successor going to make? Is it going to bump up to maybe 1800 horsepower? We'll have to wait and see on those fronts, and cannot wait to see what maybe the new top speed, the rush to get to 300 miles an hour out of a road car, I think is on. Next up on the list, we've talked about the Porsche 911 GT2 RS. Anxiously awaiting this vehicle to hit dealer showrooms, but according to the folks over at Bridge to Gantry, who apparently was been photographing this car doing a lot of testing at the Nürburgring Nordschleife loop, we may have a new king of the Nordschleifer on our hands now that this vehicle makes near 700 horsepower at 690 horsepower out of that turbocharged flat 6. They're saying that they've got a couple of photographs of this car in the same corner that are time-stamped under 7 minutes apart, meaning this vehicle could be doing sub-7 minute lap times, possibly quicker than the 918 Spider, which will show you just how much progress has gone on inside of Porsche as far as making power and getting it to the ground. Cars are moving at quite a rapid rate these days, so be really impressive. I'm assuming we're going to get to see some video and some official announcements from Porsche very soon, especially if they become the fastest thing around the Nordschleife loop. Next up on the list, we've talked about Jaguar's brand new XE from the folks over SVR, the Project 8 version. This thing made its official debut at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. If you don't remember, it's got a 5-liter supercharged V8 making 592 horsepower and 516 pounds-feet of torque. That's shifted through a brand new 8-speed DCT gearbox that apparently could do upshifts in just 0.2 of a second, meaning this vehicle gets 0 to 60 in just 3.3 seconds with a top speed of 200 miles an hour. Some reports just came out from the folks over at Jaguar. Official U.S. pricing was revealed. This vehicle will have a starting price of $185,495 US dollars. Now, the trick is they're only going to build 300 of these for the world. They have not put an allocation as far as how many the United States is going to get for this machine. Granted, when we talk about the Project 7, only 50 of those cars came to the United States, so there could be a good chance that that's all that's coming here as well, which means this thing in stateside trim is going to be a rare piece indeed. Another vehicle with some clarification, I talked about the Mission E from the folks over at Porsche, this all-electric, somewhat of a, I don't know, Model S fighter, if you will. And it looks like it's going to be right there in that range as far as this vehicle is concerned. Had a lot more information come out past the Frankfurt Motor Show, including this vehicle having upwards of 300 miles of range. The 350 kilowatt-hour battery can gain 80% of its power back in just 15 minutes of time, which means this vehicle is pretty doggone viable. Not to mention 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, and a starting price, and when I said it was well over $100,000, they're now talking about between $80,000 and $90,000, which puts this right in that lower end Model S range. And they're talking about this vehicle going into production sometime in the year 2019. So just in a couple of years, we may hear a whole lot more about this deal. And not to mention, battery technology continues to get better. This vehicle could get better range and better speed coming up very soon as well. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.